What's up, it's your second son now that I feel like the race is nearly won. I take the time to say I told you I would make you proud, because it hurt me when I asked you to bail me out. Though my decisions differ from things that you would tell me, know that everything that you gave me never failed me. I couldn't have planned for it. I could have got a doctrine, wasn't in the plans for me. My music popping, trying to make all the sense within a world undefined. I held resentment to your dad because I felt a divide. You were the reason that I fell in love with music, that's why I had to learn fast that life is a gas. I skip my Mother's Day to hit the road and play. If I don't give it my all, then what the fuck I'm gonna say? I'm sorry for the times I couldn't see your faces, but I do all I do to give you whatever you want and whatever you need. Say you don't have to worry no more, because your son has it under control. Yeah. Now verse 2 is for Benita. You've been my baby since the open mics and free clubs. You let me crash at your crib and made me sandwich wraps. You bought me fresh ass clothes from the store, you managed that. Thank you, I ain't perfect, baby, but you put up with me. I bring on Rose on with the Rillo for you, plus I got weed. And I never had nobody put their faith in me, so I make it my duty to put that pussy to sleep. Every night when you want it, girl, you can jump up on it. Hit it left, hit it right, but you'll never be my opponent. I'm a grown man, baby, when I claim it, I'ma own it. And I honor you forever. You were there before the cheddar need money. My boo can flip that in the afternoon, and I will fuck you up if she asks me to. That's why I do the things I do, and I will always be here to give you whatever you want. Hey, and whatever you need. Said I don't wanna lose you, no. You're my one and my only girl. Control. I remember the dark days before, when I didn't know which way to go, and you brought me to the fall. Will you be there for me? I will always be there for you. Will you always be there for me? Been a long, long journey. So you don't have to worry no more. Shout out to Button Master Music.
Yo, this is your girl Sherelle B, repping Long Island, New York to the fullest, and you are listening to the Views Podcast.
Yo, Nige, man, welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you.
Man, I'm glad to be here, bro. For real, man.
Yeah, no, it's been a long time coming, man. Like I told you before we started, me and Paulie, when we was doing Go Create, and part of my voice, man, yesterday was an experience where I realized I'm too old to be drinking this much. But we was like, yo, Nige, we gotta have Nige on. You had to, and then like shit got in the way, not on your part, just that, we was just focused on certain things, and before you know it was like, yo, we never had Nige on. So thank you, bro.
Oh man, thank you, man. I've been excited, man. I follow you and follow what you do. Just as far as like the different collaborations you do with creatives and artists in the city, in the area, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad to be on that, be a part of that story now, you know?
Facts. Now, and you're a veteran to the whole, podcast thing. I know you've done a bunch of them. And I think that the reason why niggas like really rock with you is because the authenticity of your music, of you, like you're a real artist. I remember when we did do you remember when we did Why Do I Create?
Yeah, man. In this building. Yeah, of course, yeah.
And, you looked the part of an artist.
Man, tell them, let them know.
That you look dead. I was like, look at this moment. Like, I always tell people that when niggas see me show up to do a photo shoot, I never look like a photographer.
You think so?
Nah, bro. I think I look like a nigga taking pictures, but I don't think. But and there's some guys, they come out with the gear. They looking, they got 4 or 5 cameras on them and shit. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't look the part. Then you see it, you be like, oh yeah, he is the part. Yeah. But you got the whole thing, the whole swag down, the music down.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. So let's start off. Like, are you from Charlotte originally?
Yeah, bro. I'm born and raised, baby.
Oh shit, local.
Among the few.
Yeah,
for real.
What side of town?
Okay, so when I was born, my parents lived like near Matthews, like kind of like I guess you would call the east side of Charlotte, you know. But we moved when I was like 4 to north side of Charlotte. You know,
word.
W.T. Harris, Sugar Creek. It was mad suburban when I first got out there, you know.
Yeah.
It's tanned up, baby. It's tanned up. Let's go.
Yeah, because I live on the north side.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I actually moved when I first got here. I lived on the east side.
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah, I lived.
You know both?
Yeah, I was on right off Monroe Road. Mm-hmm. Yep. So I know that side. Then I moved on this side. But yeah. So how what got you into music though? Like what? Because you are very polished.
I appreciate it.
So how did I start off?
Well, I can say that I've always loved music, just ever since I was a kid. I can say like my dad kind of introduced me because he's really into like having a lot of different music or having music playing in the house a lot. So he introduced me to a lot of like music, and I ended up kind of gravitating toward like oldies, like old like Motown. It could even be like old white music like Beatles, Rolling Stones from like the 60s, 50s, 70s. And for some reason I just was like, that was my thing, like in elementary school. And from an early age, like I just would write songs like based off of like songs I knew, you know, and just kind of like replace the words. So I was always like good with just putting words together into a song and like rearranging, like it might have a melody or the tune of another one starting off, but then I just like put words in that I related to, you know. And then that's always been it. But like when I was in 5th grade, I got hip to rap, you know what I'm saying? And from there, I just knew I wanted to be a rapper. But when it comes to like, I guess to go to your comment about polished, that's my whole life I just really have been somebody who kind of likes, I guess you could say likes attention, but I can say I like entertaining people. Like I like making people have fun, or as a kid, like I always like telling jokes. I wanted to be a comedian. Like Robin Williams, Jim Carrey were like
animated comedian. I can see that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? When I was a kid, I mean, I thought I was funny.
Nah, you made me laugh.
but so like, I think that's where the whole performance thing has kind of always been, you know.
Right. Who's you when you got into rap? What was the artist that you liked the most? Like who influenced you?
Well, shoot, man. Like so initially it was Eminem that got me in there because like I'm in like suburbia, so like a lot of my friends. Like, this is gonna tell my age, you know what I'm saying?
Fuck it.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, bruh, like, 2000, you know what I'm saying? Eminem's out, it was the second project. Real talk, it was Hi, My Name Is when it came out when I was in elementary school. That, like, a lot of my friends were talking about this rapper. And then I guess I could relate to it because I've always been kind of, like, rebellious in a way. So I kind of liked it. And then from there, I just kind of, like, went from watching, like, cartoons to watching like VH1 and like MTV and like exploring, okay, who's Dr. Dre? He was in NWA. I remember watching Behind the Music and knowing, okay, Dr. Dre was in this rap group, NWA. So, like, even, like, before Straight Outta Compton or whatever, like, when I was, like, 12, like, before that movie or whatever, like, when I was 12, I asked for that CD as a kid. It was edited, too. But, like,
I got a story about music when I with my family. Go ahead.
But, like, that just basically kind of, like, from there, just was my deep exploration into rap. And by the time somebody gave me the album Illmatic,
we talking Nas now.
Yeah, that's, to be honest, okay, to tell you all the people I got, first it was like Eminem, Dr. Dre or whatever. But then, you know, because like the radio and me going into middle school, it's like, okay, it's Luda, you know what I'm saying? And then rapping didn't get easier for me until I heard Nas, because my vocabulary as just an individual and my thoughts needed that blueprint to put it down, because the radio wasn't necessarily playing lyrical stuff at the time anyway. So Illmatic, even though I got it like 10 years after it came out, it blew my mind, you know what I'm saying? Changed my perception of how to rap from then.
In what regards though? Like,
because I was, in a way, like, I was like Nas as far as, like, I had a lot on my mind and a lot to say, but I kind of, especially because of the environment I was in, like, I was the suburban kind of kid who was artsy, advanced by this time, and I guess that little, I was cool and accepted, but I always felt like I wasn't in it, like, of it. Like, I was in it, but not of it, and Nas kind of had that reflective thought, like that reflective viewpoint, you know what I'm saying? And even when he talked about like the scenery of where he grew up and stuff like that, it was always had like an air of wisdom. And I've always kind of had like an old soul about me too. So it's like what he was talking about, to be honest, fed my soul more than, I mean, what else would be like 50? I mean, 50 was hot too.
Yeah, but 50 made you want to go rob somebody and shit.
50,
I feel you
know
on that. Let's get the strap.
Right. Yo, shout out to 50. That's my
Nah, you can curse on this shit.
That's my motherfucking dude, bro.
Yeah, I like 50. I like his, like, you know, even though that whole shit that's going on with him and Floyd is kind of reckless, but
so they really beefing?
I mean, I'll be real with you. Sometimes when they come to hip hop beef, I be thinking that's like, I'm skeptical at best. Because I'm like, all right, how is this keeping? What's coming behind it? Is 50 coming out with an album? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah. But from what I see, that shit look like it's real. Damn. But I feel you when it comes down to music. It's like, I always say this all the time. You know, creatives have like, they have their lane. My lane is photography. Then even in that, there's sub-lines, you know, sub-lanes you're gonna be in. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't really do, you know, my portraits are different. You know, I want you to convey, I want you to feel like you're there when you like looking at my photos. Mm-hmm. Where some people want to give you just a great photo, you know what I mean? But then there's always different, you had to draw a line to whatever other creative genre or whatever that you would like, you can see yourself like you enjoy most. Some people who are photographers like to dance. That's their other outlet, you know. Some like paintings or whatever. My shit has always been music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think because of the fact that the way I see photography is the truth, I think music is always, if it's done right, you're telling the truth. You're telling your truth. This is your 3 minutes to speak. You know what I'm saying, to someone. And so that's why most of the people who've been on the podcast since I've started Views have been musicians, because I vibe with y'all a lot better than I vibe with anybody else. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so it's funny you said Nas, because when I was in high school, I was the jock, but you mean I'm not gonna tell. I mean, I'm old, so back in my day, being a nerd or being anything else creative was kind of like not looked. It was something they could joke on you. Yeah. So like, if I can go back in time, I'll say, man, I wish I can go back in time and say, fuck y'all, I'm gonna do what I want to do. But so with that whole high school shit you said, I agree with that, because I was in it, but I didn't want to be in it. Like, I was part of the cool kids, but it's like, it was corny to me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was corny. And then like I didn't. It's not like I could be like, yo, let's go grab a camera and let's go shoot somewhere. Let's go, let's do that.
What the fuck, nigga?
Like, let's go get some pussy.
Honestly, to be real,
saying.
and that, it's kind of crazy. Like, I mean, a lot of people will feel me. Like, if you like 18, you might not, or if you like 16, because you kind of came up socialized in the social media aspect. Because social media really, because it's based off of an individual creating their image. Creatives have begun to really win, and it's like if you have the ability to create, it's like your stock has gone up. And I can even say, like, to be honest, it's in pop culture swing outside of the internet, it's been like cats like Kanye West, Pharrell, the whole maturation and reformation of what a rapper is kind of made it to be like, you don't have to be tough or, you know what I'm saying, a killer or a great basketball player to be cool.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Because Kanye made it, because nowadays it feels like if you're just a rapper, back in our day, rappers stayed in a rapper's lane. And nowadays it feels like guys like Kanye, you can be a rapper, and that's one thing. Then the next thing is I'm a designer, because my creativity is not singular. We're not on one lane. You feel what I'm saying? So let me ask you this question: your music. So how did when you first started making music? What did it sound like then?
Oh man, I guess when you can say like when I first started recording rap, it was like me like kind of spitting. Definitely lyrical. I got my first project was Lost Boy, the dynamics of a child of color. I know I was like long, but like this is like Food and Liquor, like when you had them type big album concepts. But I guess you could say it was early, kind of like what you call like the Lupe branch, Kanye Lupe branch of music. You know what I'm saying? It was like a lot of Lupe beats on there.
Is that like Backpack?
Yeah, Backpack.
Okay.
You know, I definitely, like, my whole identity was the personification of like, yeah, this is Backpack. I wasn't like all the way into like not tribe, but the Talib kind of, to me, kind of like sleepy ass shit. But nah, I was definitely, because you gotta think around this time, like Tribe wasn't 20 years old, so it's not like Illmatic wasn't 20 years old. So a lot of these things were kind of like in the past, but kind of like floating there, because there wasn't no institution saying like, oh, it's the 20-year anniversary of this, or even NWA. A lot of the cats in the last, 4 years really know who NWA was or listen to their music because of the movie.
Yeah, the movie.
You know what I'm saying? So like, for me, like, I felt like I was kind of like carrying and represent, even Public Enemy, one of my biggest influences.
Oh, word.
Carrying a lot of those people that I knew, like, their influence and kind of like the aspects and elements that weren't present at the time of hip hop. At that time, I felt like a crusader. You know what I'm saying, for like this new fresh brand of hip hop. But also that's where folk rap, also that concept, I began to conceptualize folk rap from, because a lot of those genres, or a lot of those artists like Tribe Called Quest, Public Enemy, even if you want to, like, even Nas, but even Lupe, like a lot of them kind of had like a down home perspective. It wasn't like they're rapping to you from a Benz, you know what I'm saying? Like, but rapping down to you, it's almost like colloquial, like folk. It's like that real having fun, not like preaching backpack rap, but fun backpack rap. And a lot of that's back now, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's true, because I always the problem I have with a lot of rappers is that you always try. It feels like sometimes you're trying to stunt, and you stunting on me. Then at the same time you're asking me to buy your album.
Exactly.
So you want me to support you getting the Bentley?
Yeah, or you come
Bentley truck,
or you come on, or even if your language, like, if your language is like, yeah, they hate me, but fuck them. I know y'all mad at me on this. Like, I'm on stage rapping to you. Like, not to take away, because a lot of that is like a struggle, and it's a narrative that comes from a real place. And this is where I think, just in general, like, out of my authenticity and my tolerance for the lack of it comes from. It's like, I don't just want no happy-go-lucky fucking rapper, or somebody who I know it doesn't understand the concept of folk rap and trying to do some shit and just trying to recreate it. So like at the same token, like I know when somebody is actually talking about like, yeah, these niggas did hate on me, and you know, this is my triumph, this is my, you know, the win from my struggle. And then I also know people that just faking it, you know what I'm saying? And that's when it can get fucking boring, like, you know.
I feel you on that. When it comes to, I was going to ask you about the folk rap shit. You kind of beat me to it.
Oh yeah.
So when you your music changed, I mean, your music has never changed. All right, so I'm gonna say this: when people hear folk rap and they see you, sometimes you're so creative with just your music, but just your appearance, like the whole thing. You've branded yourself really well. I said this about Elevator J.
Oh yeah.
I remember when I first met him, he was totally different than he is now, in a sense, like this personality-wise, the same. Mm-hmm. But he's adapted to this. Like I'm from Carolina, and there's a lot of people come here from different cities, and you know, and he's want to keep the essence of how he was brought up, fishing, country ways and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And then I said this before. He had like I think I said this last week. He had when I first started to get it, is when he had on his Instagram, he put out a video, and it was like maybe like, I want to say like 12 seconds. And all it was somebody put a glass of a glass on the table. They threw some ice in there, and they poured some fucking iced tea.
Yeah.
And that's all it was. It was somebody put the glass down, threw some ice. And you would have thought that was like an iced tea commercial, like somebody who makes tea bags or whatever. And then he just picked it up. And then he had music playing in the background. And I was like, oh, I get his brand now. I get it. You know what I'm saying? And he's able to keep his, he's able to find his brand and say, listen, you either gonna fuck with it or you not.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna fuck with it, we gonna have fun.
Yeah.
If you don't, then you will fuck with it at some point because I'm dope.
Everybody else is gonna be having fun around you.
And every time I look at you and I watch you put up videos like of shows, and you're out there with your, you know, onesie, not the onesie, what do you call them, overalls?
Yeah.
With no shirt on, and it's called folk rap. And I know niggas who are closed-minded are gonna be like, yo, what the fuck is this? And you got a band.
Yep.
What the fuck? What rappers got bands?
Yeah, man. In the last, bruh, a whole lot. But you know what? Even with that, even with it's like, even if you like, a lot of people can't see me, but you see me now, like even like how my hair is, and
yeah,
like how like the clothes I have on now, a lot different than like the last time I was filming that Why Do I Create, right? Yeah. So I feel that one part of, and even if you look at Elevator J, if you look at maybe his look might be different than like 5 years ago, but what that look represented and what his look represents now, once you understand it all, is the same thing in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's Carolina pride.
And even it's an individuality, and it's an ownership of kind of like of your own brand.
Thanks.
And one thing that I've realized, like, I always have to keep moving and keep growing. And like with the band, like I started. I think it was
what made you decide to have a band?
I think it was because
you know rappers don't have bands.
It was a few things, man. It was one, the fact that
have a band. Excuse me.
I was being asked to like perform with other bands, like in the city of Charlotte, to just kind of front them, and just like for certain one-off shows and rap with them. And like I was seeing how fun it was to rap with a band, and also like I hang out with anybody, so nice. It's like it really allowed me to meet new people, new musicians. And I also realized that rappers, a lot of times when it comes to performing, they don't get paid, or like they don't even get booked at local venues. Like, no offense, Snug Harbor's not gonna just hit up somebody, and it'll be hard if a rapper hits up Snug Harbor saying like, unless you develop a relationship, but saying like, hey, I rap, I want to have a rap show at your establishment. But if I say, hey, me and my band are looking we're gonna be going on tour, and we're looking to hit up, Chapel Hill. We see that you have a venue. Can we perform there? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot easier. People a lot of these gates, you know what I'm saying, open up a little bit more. And then at the same time, it also allows me to kind of like network and expand, one, like my people's knowledge of who I am, but also at the same time, really fully flex my full creativity, because, I mean, the band show's totally different than me like performing live like with the DJ. And,
it's definitely a good look. Because you know what, music is supposed to be experienced. So it's one thing when you hear it. A lot of times I don't like some of the songs until I see a music video, and then I'm like, oh, I like that song now. And then a lot of times now we do everything on the computer. Everything is, synthetic sounds and whatever. You don't get back in the day when our grandparents was, going out, man, there was a band right there. Yeah. And you felt it. You felt
the vibration.
The energy that came out of that. And it's a lot. The guy's talented. Oh, man, this dude is nice on the drums. You know what I'm saying? It's like, only time now you really, really feel that if you go to a show, outside of a show, is if you go to church.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then you feel it, and then that's what really gets you. You know what I mean? But nowadays, we listen to everything through the most perfect mixed down version of it. We don't get that real.
And I feel like it's hard when you, in a way, like when you're performing to programmed material, you can only move around but so much. Like, you, in a sense, have to kind of program yourself. Like, I mean, like, people like me to perform function, and I can play it with, the track, and it'll be dope. But, like, I'll have to drop the cue right then. Like, I'll have to sing right here, and I'll probably have to do it in this certain way. Like, with a band, it's like, it's got a little, especially when you rehearse with them and y'all got that flow, it's just, you got so many, like, pockets and grooves to just sit in. Do it a little different this time. Because when it's the track, it's like you are the only performer. It's like, really, if it's just you, right? There's one instrument. That's one incredible thing about hip hop, and that's why a great MC is great. And I'm glad that I'm a great MC. You know what I'm saying? I give that hip hop show, but when, just imagine my abilities as an MC to hold down a set with the track, along with another incredible guitarist giving his feeling through the song at the time. Another drummer giving his feeling. Because I'm giving my feeling. There's 5 niggas giving y'all feelings out here. You know what I'm saying?
And you leave there with a different energy.
Yeah, man.
I wanted more. And then that's, like I say, if you do an hour set, let's say you do an hour show, that shit go by fast.
Yeah.
You want it more. And you're like, damn, you're invested, emotionally invested into a person, because, like you said, everyone is nice. Listen, man, I can hear you, but I can hear that drummer killing it. I can hear that keyboard player killing it. And you're like, damn. I remember, I saw this last week when I had Eric on. I said there was a show we were talking about when Tremont Music Hall was still on.
Yeah.
And I remember I went to one show, and there was a dude named Hey Cool. And before that, it was a lot of rappers out there trying to just be, they same shit. Yo, I trap all day, I steal your girl, yada yada yada. It was like, cool, got you.
Yeah.
They had lost their interest, and then it was more people mingling than actually watching the show. And then they took like a quick, I want to say like 30 seconds to a minute, and all you heard was this dude with the trombone. His name is B Hux on Instagram. He said he goes by the traveling trombonist. Right? Anyway, he does wah, 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 and then everybody just turned. It was like, what the fuck is this? And then the song was okay, but the vibe of that shit, it was just like, oh. And then he got everyone's attention, and he got everyone's attention, and then from that point on, the show it moved. And it was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I forgot we came here
to actually
see performance. Yeah.
And I think I'm not the only person going to instruments heavy in this whole black musical sphere right now, because I think that that's something that we really are all getting really back hip to. You know what I'm saying?
That's how that's in our soul.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
and it's nice to see that.
yeah, it is.
How do you keep your creativity though? In a world where people are always trying to tell you, hey man, rap is cool, but if you're not signed, or if you're not doing this, and how do you make money, or how do you support yourself, or any of that nonsense they come up with? A lot of times, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, people succumb to that and they go, you know what, I gotta do what everyone else does. But it's amazing. I'm always amazed when I see people like yourself, like Eric I had last week, you know, or Young, or anybody who is able to maintain their creativity. So how do you maintain it and not get bogged down by everyday life?
Well, I think it takes being very much attached to your own mind, and your own version of reality, but also very rooted in reality. You know what I'm saying? So I can say this. I got a college degree. There were times where I wanted to like leave college during college, because I was just like, bro, I just knew I was going to be a rapper, and I was going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, and just get signed. All I need to do is just give myself this time. But I remember my dad telling me, it's like, you can do both, you know? So from there, like, I ended up getting like a degree, and it's not like I'm trying to jump into no career, but I come back home and I'm able to actually have jobs that pay me enough, you know what I'm saying,
Facts.
to pass by. So that's one good thing I kind of had to accept, like, okay, I'm not gonna like just, because sometimes we can get overly emotionally invested in our identity as artists and think that just living kind of like this dream world, like, no, I gotta just be so free and I can't do this. It's like, nah, nigga, you can. You know, you can, you know, get that job or go apply and get that job or whatever. But another thing on top of that I always maintain is there are a lot of corporate gigs I bounced the fuck from, like, that I've got up and left. It's like, I did that at Wells Fargo. I'm not trying to say it to like,
it's not my thing either,
you know
bro.
What I'm saying? But like,
I hate coworkers.
You got to like, you know what I'm saying? You just have, I guess what, you kind of got to know. I think one thing that helped me stay creative is I knew kind of like, I was not afraid to leave a certain situation, because I always knew that the reason why I was feeling that is for a reason. And as long as I kind of like act as honestly as I can through that emotion and try to be as respectful as I can to the people that are affected by it, then I will bounce, you know what I'm saying? And I will see what's next. And I think that's what's always helped me. Like, and that's one when it comes to like working with other creatives. Like, I mean, from all the successes that I have or whatever, like, I've done paid cameramen to do work and never got footage. You know what I'm saying? I've reached out to...
Oh yeah, I've taken pictures of people and,
you know,
never gotten paid.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've reached out to artists that have never gotten back to me about doing a song. Like, I've gotten fronted on. I've traveled, put my money into traveling to perform at places that I don't get paid at. I'm reaching out to, like, you know, I was scared to put together a band, but I kind of knew what I wanted or needed, and I just kind of did it. So, like, I think it's like having a resolve and also being like realistic about what you need to have to get what you want. Like, you can get and do whatever you want, but there gonna be usually some things that are gonna be required of you to do it. But a lot of times, like, just focus on getting the things that you need in the right way. And I'm not perfect, and I always am learning, you know.
How'd you come up with putting your band together? Like, what was the process? Like, did you put an ad on Craigslist?
Nah, I was
rapper looking for band.
Yeah, actually, it was like kind of like maybe like a year before, like, we even got it all together. kind of like a year before we even got it all together, I was kind of like playing with the idea with some friends who played music. And finally, I was doing a lot of gigs with Blue House. Shout out to Blue House. They're my boys.
Gang.
And so like they would travel with me like to shows that I would get booked for, and I perform with them with the band, but I'd also like, let them perform too. So it kind of worked out. But after a while, it was kind of hard to just get everybody in a totally different band to do what kind of like go where I wanted them to go, to be honest. Because I kind of I kind of take the reins a lot, you know what I'm saying? Even when it comes to like booking for myself and stuff. So anyway, from there, I was like, I had to face it, like, I got to put together a band. So I knew members of these different bands from throughout Charlotte.
Oh, you just Pat Riley that shit.
Yeah, to be honest, that's how a lot of bands kind of form anyway. A lot of bands, especially in Charlotte, like,
would they be sick of their old band? And they be like,
they don't leave. No, a lot of them don't leave. Like,
okay.
No. I mean, they just are like, take for Ricardo, for example. Okay. Ricardo right now is in Leanna Eden's band, but also he plays bass for Blue House. And when I saw Ricardo in the other night, he was talking about how Blue House is probably going to get my guitarist Zach to be another, like, to play rhythm guitar for Blue House. And that's just kind of like, so like when I had to start my band, I asked Jessica, who was playing keys in Blue House at the time, and I asked Ricardo, who was playing bass, because Ricardo's like always just looking to play, if they would play in my band. And then I got James Jeffries, who was in Leanna Eden's band, and Zach.
What instruments they play?
James was playing drums.
Okay,
he's incredible. He's got his, okay. Even to add to the story, so James is incredible on drums, but he also plays guitar. And actually, right now, he has a band with my guitarist Zach called the Lonely Jones.
Okay,
and he plays guitar and sings. So they have another drummer. But at the time, he was playing drums for Leanna Eden, and Zach was playing guitar for Leanna. So I asked if I could use Zach and James. And then at a certain point, James really wanted to start his own band. You know what I'm saying? So he told me, he was like, man, I can't be in the band anymore. And like, even at that time, it was tough, because it was like, damn, what the fuck am I gonna do? And you think, oh, it's gonna be hard. How do I convince who's gonna believe enough in whatever I'm doing or whatever? But
yeah, I can see that.
You know what I'm saying?
You're a rapper and you want a band,
right? But
trust me, bro, it's gonna work. Just
yeah,
let it.
But it did work out, because that's the good thing about the community of Charlotte. Like, all these other people, like, who we all kind of like are aware of each other. We support each other, and we know what it's like to have a band. So, and a lot of times my fucking music's good, so people like it. People want to be a part of it, and a lot of times they had seen me perform either with Blue House at a house party or with my old lineup, and they're like, fuck yeah. And that's kind of how it works in the bands, like in the band world too.
So, mention the question. You said Nas. You had mentioned Nas earlier when we first started about influences and whatever, right? And I just can't get this thought out of my mind. There was I was listening to Hip Hop Nation, I think it was. Yeah, Hip Hop Nation. And they were talking about, they had Juice WRLD on there, and they was interviewing him. And he said he was in the studio with Lil Uzi Vert and what's a dude from Atlanta?
Yachty?
Nah. The dude used to play, he was Lil Wild. Damn, I can't think of his name. But anyway, I forgot the guy's name. Damn, what the fuck is his name? He was like the king of the mumble rap before all this started.
Lil Yachty?
Nah, you got it. Anyway, he was in there with this dude. I can't think of his name right now. I'm like, I don't have like a mind fart right now. But anyway, he was talking about the guy. They were talking about was writing and how they don't write. Right? They was like, he said, man, a lot of this shit I don't even write down, but I just go in the booth and I do it. And Young Thug, that's who it is.
Yeah.
Young Thug.
He is like the king, like
yeah.
Good. Yeah.
So they was talking about, man, he's a genius, man. He goes in here and it's all in his head. And I kept thinking, that's cool. Like Jay-Z doesn't write.
Yeah.
He doesn't write on paper.
Yeah, but he writes it in his head.
He writes it in his head,
Yeah.
right? He just doesn't write it on paper. And I think the message of that kind of got distorted. And it got me to thinking about the fact that Nas has a commercial. One of my favorite Nas commercials is, I love Henny. I drink Hennessy.
Yeah.
It may be cliche as fuck.
Nas had the Hennessy deal for like 20 years. Bro.
Yeah, but he was on the commercial he was on. He was on the train and he was just walking and he was like, "I'm watching you and I'm taking in your stories,
Yeah.
and I flip it and I give it back to you." And I always thought like, if someone said to you, "Oh, I'm a writer," right? You're gonna automatically think about them putting pen to pad and writing a story, whether it be fiction, nonfiction, whatever. And then when you think of writing with a hip hop artist, for some reason it gets distorted. Like you're not a writer anymore. So I was thinking to myself, Nas writes. He's a writer. If he wasn't doing hip hop, he can be a journalist.
Yeah.
He can be this. And I think sometimes, like, when I hear your music, I feel like you're reporting back from something.
Oh yeah, like I think my actual, if a lot of people ask me like what my talent is just words. Like I write good damn songs. Like and even with the band, I mean, I like some of them I like put together tune wise, but like the band puts a lot of the song stuff together, like the music. And I just have I'm a showman. Like I'm a performer.
Yeah.
And I'm a wordsmith as a musician.
That's a lost art, bro.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it's funny because with you giving that, with you talking about relating it to like writing down on a piece of paper, like book author type stuff, it made me think about the act of painting and like a painter having this vision in their head and they draw it out and then they paint it and then they detail it with their technique and everything, and it's lauded and appreciated.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, what would be the inverse for what Lil Uzi Vert and all of those guys would be in painting? And I think that would probably be like,
Ooh, what would that look like?
I think that's like I don't even want to say Andy Warhol because I think that you got better pop art. I think that would kind of be like Basquiat.
You think so?
Bruh, I know that a lot of people won't like it.
You got to.
The reason why I say is because I feel like you got some people who just pop out, say bullshit, right?
Yeah, I felt like Lil Wayne was like that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I feel like I will put Lil Wayne as a pioneer of what I could call this style of rap and relate it to pop art, because pop art is kind of like when whatchamacallit, Andy Warhol did the recreation of the soup can. Like, people were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, bruh. You know, some people were like, oh my God, like, it made people feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? To the people that got it, you know? And it didn't require but so much thought. Maybe it's just him being in his zone of the feeling he was in when he did it. Like, when you look at Basquiat, some of those paintings, like, people thought just looked like, you know, quote, I know it was racist tones, but cave art, or just like, you know, oh, this is just like street art or graffiti. But in a sense, it's like people didn't, yes, it was done a lot in a flash, and a lot of the words he wrote, he just was listening to like the radio or the TV and he wrote it down. But in his whole zone, in his whole, him as a person, as a force, creative force, that's what splattered it out there. But I don't think he sat back and was like, all right, I'm going to put in here, I'm going to draw this. But I also feel like he did use elements of that, you know what I'm saying? I think it's a good medium, but that's why I relate it to pop art. And I think that you do have some cats like, even Young Thug.
They call him a genius.
I think Young Thug's a genius, to be honest. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't crossed that turn.
But think about this.
I haven't made that circle yet.
Think about somebody 45 listening to Prodigy in the 90s. Or somebody, you know what I'm saying, 30 listening to Prodigy in the 90s. Like when Prodigy's popping off with... He might, like, a lot of that stuff off, when you first look, is just violent shit talking. But then a lot of that stuff is just like violent shit talking if you just first listen. But as you start to understand, and what the people our age at the time who young understood, it was some it was more deeper shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, he was telling the story.
You know what I'm saying? And even though I do feel like
The whole Mobb Deep crew.
to be like, I feel like rap has kind of like has a lot of poisonous subject matters, in the sense that I think that there's a lot of moments where the subject matter could be a little bit less redundant, and maybe a little bit more about ideas. I still feel like on songs, a lot of songs, ideas permeate. Like if you listen to like Travis Scott, you have to take like certain artists who actually do have thoughts and have some depth to them as people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That also are mumble rappers, and then I think that's where you can get the cream. Because at the same time that you have Prodigy, you had a lot of fucking dumbass, like, let's just pretend like we're street fucking gangster killers, and let's just say a bunch of shit on boom bap records at that same time too, that maybe some people thought was like, oh, the shit, because it sounds like this other, you know, but they get lost.
Yeah, I do agree that too much. I'm not here. I'm not ready to say that Young Thug, anybody like that are a genius. But I don't. Even though I'm not going to give him that much credit, I don't think that all the backlash and all the like. Listen, mumble rap, maybe this is his time. It may not have his. This may be his only time. And so at that same time, like, you go back. I mean, Digital Underground was doing Humpty Hump Dance.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And and people who was listening to James Brown probably looked at that and go,
what the fuck
what is
was
this?
he saying?
Yeah.
I don't like,
why does he have a fake nose on? You know what I'm saying? So I get it. And I think it's too much blame and on one end. And I think also, from my perspective, too much credit. But but one thing I can do is, you know, I can give it his due. Like, for instance, when people want to talk about LeBron and MJ for the GOAT conversation, right? Yeah. I'm on a Jordan side, right? I said Jordan is, and I just tweeted this out, he's old, he always will be the GOAT when it comes to basketball. When it comes to anything else, humanitarian, all the other things that LeBron does, to me, in every other aspect of life, if you are comparing the two,
as a person and player,
I'm a fan of LeBron. Not basketball wise, you know what I'm saying, but in life as a person, I feel like he's opening up a school in Akron called the I Promise School. Yeah, and it looks dope as fuck.
Yo, it is crazy as you point out the sheer contrast of how truly, even though he gets so much shit, actually likable LeBron is.
Yeah, he's really
and
cool.
How truly much of an asshole MJ is.
Yeah,
like,
he's cheap.
Even Kobe,
asshole.
like, not saying Kobe morally is bad. Like, MJ gets bad morally reviews, but we at least know Kobe's an asshole personality, probably. Like, if he don't like you, he's not going to pretend to like you, you know what I'm saying? It is crazy how LeBron has gotten he gets so much shit. Yeah. And he is actually a nice person.
He's a cool dude. Like, if he was your friend, you'd be like, I fucks with him. That's my man.
You imagine all the people that really know LeBron probably be mad as shit when you be talking, like, when people say shit.
Like, come on.
Like, come on. Like,
kids are dying over Jordans. He's opening up schools.
Bruh.
You get what I'm saying? Like, Jordan had invested in private prisons. You know,
that's fucking sad.
And LeBron is out here opening schools. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So like, and what are we mad about when it comes to LeBron? Like, he left Cleveland, went to Miami, then went back to Cleveland. Now he's going to LA. Like,
it's just, and I'm not gonna say I'm perfect, because there are a lot of times I'm a big iconoclast, so they're probably. I won't say they're probably. There have been times where I've talked shit about LeBron.
Oh yeah, basketball-wise, I would talk shit all day.
An iconoclast, but I think that LeBron has pissed people off because he really challenges our institutions.
Yes,
because Jordan is an like, I can see if LeBron kind of, like, you got to think LeBron came in the game really like 5 years after Jordan left.
Yeah,
like 2003.
Yeah.
Jordan really left in '98. He came back a little later, you know. What I'm saying?
He had his runs with the Wizards. The Wizards, yeah.
But real talk. So let's say 30 years passed or 20 years passed. Let's say it's 2013, and then we get LeBron. Because even if you think about it, people so. Well, okay, I won't bring other people in the conversation, but let's say it was a 20-year difference. I don't think people would be as upset or challenged. I think a lot of the mouthpieces of media right now
Yeah.
either really grew up in the Jordan era,
Yeah.
or they were like they saw the Jordan era. That was like, you know, like Skip Bayless or just anybody.
I grew up in
like all these people.
Here's the thing. You can watch videos on YouTube and you get the game, but you don't, like what we're talking about with the whole going to a live show and having a band and seeing, you don't know what it felt like to be up 6 and be nervous. You know, with 30 seconds left, like, I should be okay, but I know he's going to take this from me. Like, you don't get that.
Talking about Jordan?
Jordan, talking about Jordan back in the day. So when you watch the games on YouTube, you kind of lose the moment of when you first saw it.
Yeah.
You know, how you felt.
It's just like,
But like I was saying, the reason I brought the comparisons is because, like I said, like, again, like, I still think that I mostly have I mostly like music that I can vibe to. I can feel emotionally attached. I told Eric last week that Eric Lottery, when he was on the show, I told him.
Oh man, that's my dude. You saying Eric? I didn't know you was talking about Lotto. What's good, Lotto, man?
I had him on the show last week, and we were talking. I was just telling him, I was like, man, I'm getting up there in age where I feel like I remember a time before the internet, and I remember music when it sounded differently. And I don't want to be. I did the Chrisette Michelle show at World last week. I think it was last week, and I was there watching.
Was there some ladies out there, bro?
It was older. It's an older crowd.
Okay.
It was weird, but I was like, I don't want to. I'm never going to be you. I'm not where they are. They were like 15 years older than me. But I'm like, when I get to your age, I'm not going to be you. At the same time, I'm not going to be, because I'm not going to be stuck in a generation. So I like some music, young music, and I like some of these, like, I like Lil Pump, right? I don't take him seriously, but I like his music. And I'm not the same guy who's gonna be like, oh, I'm only listening, like my man Jay only listens to Jay. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get this nigga off of it. I try to introduce, I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm like, I love Jay-Z, but I also like Lil Pump. You know what I'm saying? So you listen to you go and listen to my playlist, you're gonna hear a bunch of everything. So, I also know that I say that because I like musicians like you, where when I hear it and I go, yeah, he put work in this. He sat down. He went through something. He's telling a story. Then when I see you live and I see the band, I go, yep, I like this. This is. And then I also, the next thought I have is, where is, and there's, okay, how do I put this? Where are the people? How can I put this? Where are the people? Why aren't you on Complex? Why isn't Complex coming here saying, yo, you should definitely hear about Nige and his band? Where is just all of those people like that? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like North Carolina in general, the music scene is a little weird in the sense that it's cities. So like, I'm from New York City, so like we have boroughs. So I'm from Brooklyn, but you know, we all rep New York City. We don't rep New York as in the state. We rep the city. Yeah. And so I feel like even though cities here, and each borough feels like a different city in New York City. But I feel like if you go to the music scene in North Carolina, it's starting to buzz. You got real niggas doing real shit out here.
Yeah, man.
And I feel like, yo, bro, like, people need to start seeing this. Charlotte has a lot. People talk shit about Charlotte. Yeah. They do. But do you listen?
Yeah, Charlotte got a lot. I mean, I think people in Charlotte, I mean, maybe it's true for a lot of cities, but I really feel like it's people in Charlotte that talk shit about Charlotte. A lot of people, when I go out of town, like, they are excited about. I had a dude hit me up when I was. Oh, so you do get love. Hear people say positive shit about Charlotte artists when you leave the city? There are people who act like. I got hit up on Facebook by this dude out in California. We cool now. Like, his name's Hillside Frankie.
That's a name,
right? He was like, bro, but he was like, yeah, I'm a producer, and I tell all my people at work about Charlotte's music scene. Like, cause I mean, he named me, he named Elevator J, he named De Niro, Farrar, and it was. But I mean, even when he said it, I was like, yeah, I guess from somebody outside looking in, and actually checked out these different artists that are from here. It's like, yo, we got a lot of great music.
Yeah, and people here putting the money. They're putting the money up.
And I think
they're taking their time.
And I think people are here. I mean, to answer your question, bro, as far as like me personally, why I guess the math, I don't have like a manager or like, I mean, I know like there's some people that might like have like connections to like publications or maybe with that blueprint or that map, or might know somebody who knows it and they're like, all right, here, this kind of what you do.
I mean, I guess
when I'm figuring. Oh,
man, I got my.
No, I was just saying. I just say I'm figuring it out. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, you got it, bro.
You know,
you got it.
I appreciate it.
You got it. Listen, I say the same thing about anything. I said, the one thing that Eric did say, because I asked him about, you know, his ties to, you know, to Dreamville and stuff from being from the Ville, and he said something that kind of like I respected a lot, and I've always had like 90% of my mind always has been, I'm the type of person who's like, look, y'all niggas may be, you know, like, you may not know about me now, but just remember you will at some point, because I'm not stopping what I'm doing.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to stop this shit. It's just that by the time you catch it, I may have gone from, it's just been time. I just put in more work and stuff.
Exactly.
So I feel like at some point, people are going to hear and they're going to see the movement of, you know, the Carolina artists, and they're going to go, oh, shit.
I mean, you see it's happening now with, I mean, Made from Scratch. That was a festival in Charlotte.
That was there.
Bills, like with, you know, local artists on the bill as premium talent. You know, you got...
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we need more of. Like, you even have in Raleigh, Raleigh's been, and Durham, like Beats and Bars Festival. That's going to have Dead Prez and some other people headlining it. But a lot of people on performing. This dude, they've seen Nancer. I never met him, but a lot of people I know out there know him. He's been doing it for a minute. My man De Facto, Thespian, and Lil Bob Doe, they got a group together. They're going to be performing out there. I believe my man Juice Lord is going to be performing out there. I think, and he's from Raleigh. We went to school together.
Somebody need to start documenting this shit,
you know what I'm saying?
man.
That's a good thing about the Don't Wait Till It's Cool. Yo, shout out to NC Always for doing that too.
Yeah,
like,
I was
that was great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, cause you really just like being in that whole exhibit made me realize, like, yo, this does look like an underground book, like a flip book of like, oh shit, that's some mystic shit. Like, it must have been magical. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you look at it, it's like, wow, you know. I mean, I think it's a great time. And also to you, when you were giving that anecdote about going to the Chrisette Michele concert and being like, I don't want to be y'all, you know what I'm saying? But
and then
also,
against them.
Yeah, oh yeah,
none
of course.
against them.
It made me think about like what my ambition is. Like, my ambition is to, one, stay ambitious and to have ambitions in the creative lane. And I want to be, in a sense, like, when you was giving that anecdote, the person I thought of a good middleman is 50. 50 Cent is a good person because why is 50
still relevant?
Still relevant and not bitter, not, you know what I'm saying? He's not like some dick sucker who's just jumping on anything new. Like, he knows his age, he knows kind of like where he fits. But the thing is, he got his own shit.
Yeah.
And I know it's cliche, but a lot of times the niggas who not mad are people who I won't say who are not broke, but I will say people who at least feel like they can kind of go and move where they want to be and be who they are in the same vein. Like, I can still be, you know, 35, 45 and get bad bitches, and I don't have to act like I'm 25. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many different ways, you know? So, like, to me, like, that's what I've realized just about life. You just kind of have to, like, get something that's yours, and, like, and that's one thing that I've learned in the last few years. Like, I'm not, more than being an artist, I'm a hustler. I grew up in the suburbs. My parents had, like, you know, corporate jobs or whatever, so I never really had to, like, be pressed to the wall to make something out of nothing until music. And I realized that I have that in me with music. And then from hitting a lot of barriers and walls as being an artist and just only having that, I guess, power stake in the whole music equation, and knowing that artists get shitted on financially a lot. Artists can go to a venue and then say, oh, sorry, we fucked the schedule up. You won't be able to perform. like I don't want to be that. You know what I'm saying? So like I know that more than anything, I'm a creative entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? And even entrepreneurship is a creative action. It's a creative activity. And that's something that I've been invigorated by. And that's no matter what, bro, I'm always going to have a stake in the race of this entertainment and this music, whether I'm going to be a primary performing talent or whether I'm going to be somebody who's created the show or who produced the album, you know what I'm saying, or who manages the talent or who has the record label. You know, I'm always going to be in there because I love it. And I like fucking pretty girls, and I like you know what I'm saying, I like being around cool young people, and you know, but I'm not trying to pretend like I'm 17, you know what I'm saying? I can be you know.
You know, when you said that, the first thing that I thought of was when you said about the venues and shit. There was a young lady named Aja Cobb. I don't know if she still lives in the city.
Oh yeah.
She used to throw art trap houses as a traveling tour. And we had her on the podcast, on the Go Create podcast. And the one thing that was really cool about Aja was her motivation and drive and her purpose. She doesn't realize it yet, though, because sometimes your purpose on earth is not maybe to bring awareness, but sometimes you don't actually get the rewards from it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, whoever created hip hop is not making the money that Drake's making.
Cool Herc. You know what I'm saying?
Cool Herc, yeah. But
he's not.
His purpose was definitely to bring a new idea to the forefront, right? And she wasn't the first, by no means, to do this, but I just thought that when she was doing she was the first that I've seen, or one of the first that I've seen, to give people an opportunity. Because you said earlier, a lot of times there are venues that when you pitch as a rapper, I have a band, doors just seem to, they open it up now. Versus, I'm a rapper, I love to do a show here and I'm touring. Because that comes with their negative, with the venue's owners' negative intentions of the crowd that's going to be there and the whole atmosphere. But that show was giving people an opportunity to hustle their art, to get exposure. You know, maybe I didn't know. You know, like some people see me, they go, I have to tell people, yeah, I'm a photographer. But when they know that, you can't not unknow. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so when she did that, when you said about the hustling thing, she made I don't know if she ever made money off of doing these things, or how much, or if she went broke doing it, or she made money off of it. You know what I'm saying? But when I see that, and then I see stuff like, you know, Black Market, and with Wesley's doing, and everything that's coming together, I'm like, yeah, this is cool. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This is cool. And like that, when you said about the hustler thing, I kept thinking about that. Sometimes your purposes may not benefit from the vision, like Cool Herc, you know. But you definitely, your purpose was definitely here. So like, I don't really know too many rappers who have a band, or too many rappers are willing to step out there. Yeah, man. And attach something like a word like folk to them. But I wish you all the success. Like I said, I've been a fan since I heard about you, which is what Paulie put me on to you. I ain't going front. Shout out to Paulie. He was like, yo, you got listening to Nige's music, and this was like a year ago, year and a half ago, better yet. And so, like I said, I'm a fan. Like I said, anytime I've called on you to say anything, you know, like, hey, yo, I got a project, can you come through? You've always been like, yep. Yeah, man. You made yourself really available. So I just want to say, yo, good looks. Yo, no doubt, man. I know you got a session to go to, so we're gonna wrap this up. But at the end, just put out your social media for everybody the 2 or 3 people who live in Charlotte who may not know. But put your information out there and how to reach you and where they find your music and all of that.
All right, bet. You can find me on social media at NigeHood. So that's Nige Hood. And you can also find me on Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, YouTube, anything that
They go on the corner
you got
hustling
streaming,
music.
right? And you can find 3 projects up there. You got Return of the Nasty, you got This Is Folk Rap, and then you have Book of Folk Rapture 1. And I hope you guys enjoy that. I also got videos on YouTube. And man, the whole movement is folk rap. And to you saying like about like a lot of times, or like not knowing too many rappers with the band or da da da, and that's a great thing when it comes to like the whole journey of living and the whole putting things into perspective. It's like a lot, like that's a lot of why like I have a whole lot of comfort with hustling too, because as long as you are hustling and as long as you're working, you can never really be worried about anything that you have failed or succeeded in the past. So like a lot of times I can maybe think like, damn, I wish I was, getting, on tour, getting paid bukus of bread, or I wish that this was happening or this was happening. But what makes it all come into a lot more clear perspective is when I'm hustling and I'm working on something that I love and that is making me grow as a person and financially as well, and making me not have to worry so much about the day to day. But also like really looking back and being like, yo, I did do that. You know what I'm saying? I did,
Yep.
I did lead like a lot of people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm coming off of like 2 weeks ago, something happened on social media where some wild shit happened. People like somebody was saying some wild shit about me, and it took somebody to tell me like, bruh, like, cause they fucked me up. I was like, damn, like, that's how you feel. But it took somebody to tell me like, bro, like, think of all the shit that you have done for them or that you have done, like, and look at the example that you have led as just being an artist. And a lot of times people aren't going to tell you that how much they appreciate it, because a lot of times I think people are dealing with their own insecurities or the fact that they can't, or they think they can't do something, and I think that one thing that I've always been able to do, and part of my appeal, whether it's, before being the rapper on stage with the band, and before that being the rapper on stage with the cowboy boots, before that being the rapper who went on stage in a suit, you know what I'm saying? And I've always been an example of somebody who's not afraid to jump out there and try something new. And like, that's what, when I really look back and I think about it, if I never ever get out of Charlotte, you know what I'm saying, as far as like being very, very, very well known as a musician, I can really think back about what my actions did for people's souls as they were going through life and what that taught them, you know what I'm saying? And that makes me feel good.
Well, it's inspirational, and let me be the first to say, I mean, I know you're not gonna stop, so don't. Fuck everybody else, man. They do what you got to do for you, and you keep negative comments, negative energy. You will always see it in your rearview mirror, because it always comes behind you, and ain't never in your windshield, because it's always some shit. It's never in front of you. It's always behind you.
Yo, that's a great way to look at it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I say, fuck it. If it's in my rear view, I just flip that little button on the bottom, and I can't see it no more.
Yo, man.
But thank you for being on the podcast,
thank
bro.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, for real. And man. This was a lot. I didn't know what to expect. I always knew it was gonna be some good energy.
Yes, sir.
So holla at me, man.